Hey guys, Jonathan with Team Salt Boys. Got a special guest today, another Salt Boy actually. Simon is one of my teammates here, and he played a very spicy, undefeated actually from last week's local at Lotus, yellow Whis deck. Now, Simon, you're kind of the designated skillless player in Houston. You played Kid Ku, you played Kid Icarus before it was Kid Icarus, and you played a lot of Whis before as well. Um, Tell me about your deck. Tell me about your experience with skillless that led you to playing Whis again, and tell me the ins and outs of what the deck's supposed to do.
Yeah, so as we all know, there was a ban list, a much needed ban list, and I felt like Whis could be a little bit more viable than it was back then. You couldn't play with the King Vegeta format because you would get demolished. You couldn't really play with the Icarus because they draw way more than you do.
Right.
Um, so with this new ban list, I was like, yeah, let's bring it back, see how it does, and it did pretty well. A lot more consistent than what I thought.
Okay. Now I have your deck list pulled up here for the viewers to see. Small discrepancy. I put two Vegetas, two drop skillless, and I think we talked about this being a four of.
Yeah, they're both
And
for the both skill. This is our for us.
so just a minor tweak on my end. Built this on DBS Deck Planet real quick just so I have something to show. Um, so let's kind of go through your ratios. So start with your unison. Well, actually, let's back up a little bit. Let's start with the leader. Not a lot of people probably know what Whis does. So explain to me what the leader does if you remember, and you don't have to be verbatim, but just give me an idea of what the leader does.
Right, so it's your usual attack, draw, and then if you control a two drop unison, you can awaken, untap one, draw one, and his backside, if you can pay one, you send one of your skill lists, either the Goku or the Vegeta, to the drop, and you play a three drop from your deck. And that's pretty much it. Oh no, also the main effect, which I can't believe I forgot, is on your opponent's turn, you can combo a skill list, and then it gets played right after the combo, and that's really good.
It's something good that you almost forgot.
Yeah, I actually forgot to trigger it a couple times.
Hey, it happens to the best of us. Now, obviously, you have uh, a couple unisons to play. Just looking at the deck profile, you have four Vados, two drops, which was the unison made for the deck from Bandai. And then you have the expansion Vegeta Unison of Fury, one of the first unisons to ever be brought into the card game as a one of. Now, do you feel like five unisons is enough? Do you ever feel like it's too many? Why a 4-1 split? And kind of tell me your thoughts on those.
Yeah, well, the whole thing was I wanted to say my unison very early. Um, but to be honest, I might end up cutting that Vegeta. I mean, Dark Broly's not a thing anymore, so you don't got to worry about those big hitters. I mean, there is Gogeta, but at that point, I think they will just aggro the heck out of it. Um, so yeah, I think that Vegeta's definitely going to be taken out. The main one you want to go for is the Vados, because the Vados has activate main where it'll rest one of your opponent's cards, which can also trigger Poutine, triggers Bergamo, um, and yeah, it just creates a good. It opens up your plays pretty much.
Sure, sure. No, definitely. I definitely can see this deck revolving around your unison. Um, you have four of these one drop Whis. Now, from what I recall, this is a pretty good and important card to the deck. What does it do for you, and how does it synergize with the deck?
Yeah, so turn one, you want to slap this bad boy down if you're going first, so you can draw your unison or search for a skill list, and then it'll go to your opponent's turn, and they're more than likely, unless they're SAL, they will swing at you. You combo skill list, you draw, and then you play the skill list. So you get a little plus one engine going on with Whis.
So you combo skillless, draw a card, play skillless.
Exactly.
That's so gross. That's busted.
Yeah. So if they don't get rid of this guy, it adds up, and you end up getting a pretty good sized hand and board, which that's what I like about Whis. This deck can be very defensive, but it switches to offensive very quick.
Yeah, I can see that. Now, I'll be honest. A lot of your deck is good yellow dot deck. So Let's just take out the bullets here. Basil, Bergamo, Poutine, Cooler, Power of Super Saiyan. All these yellow generic, like you see this in every yellow build, right?
Right, right.
So I'm gonna skip those cards because obviously we all know what that does. We'll go into like the differences of what makes Whis. So obviously you have your two dot skillless engine for the Whis and the Vados. Does the Vados Unison do anything with the skillless?
Her. What's her plus one do? I don't think she does anything with skill. Oh yeah, she. You can combo a skill list on your opponent's turn, once per turn from your drop area.
Okay, so it's almost like that Gohan Frieza Unison, right, where you can skill combo skillless from drop.
Right, and then when you combo the one from draw, it will trigger your leader, therefore playing the skill list. So one thing I like to do as well is I did it in one of my games. I was very low in hand, and they swung with something. I don't know what they swung with, and then I used the Vados effect, brought something back. They swung again. I comboed the skill list, so it just gives you like an extra 5k power
Right,
on your.
you get two combos.
Yeah, exactly.
You get to double dip on that. That's pretty nice. Really nice package you got there. Wink, wink. You know what I mean? But as far as the three drops, the Goku and the Vegeta, these are pretty spicy from what I remember. Can you tell me what they do specifically and how often did you play them?
Yeah, so the main one you want to go for is obviously the Goku. The Goku says whenever it swings, it destroys one of your opponent's rested cards. Uh, doesn't ignore barrier though, so that's the only bad thing. But that's why you play the three final flash. So let's say you swing with your leader. They have a barrier, a big barrier guy. Um, you use your final flash, take out barrier from their guy, and then you play the Goku, and then you swing, and then now that target becomes popped.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, and the Vegeta is just when he swings, and if they use a counter on his attack, he'll restand. But he doesn't have he loses double strike pretty much. He becomes a skillless.
Sure. I mean, still, it's nice to get a dual attacker. Um, so one thing I'm noticing, and just take this for what it is, you have 8, 11, 14, 16, 18, 20, 20, 21. You have 21 targets and no Planet Vegetas in your deck. I don't know how important Planet Vegeta might be to you if you have an issue with like finding Saiyan cards, but that's just something that anytime I see yellow and I see Saiyans, I think Planet Vegeta, especially with apes like Bardock, where you'll like play them for two and then you'll swing and they just sit there and they're a two cost combo obviously, so not great, but if you want to protect your apes, restanding them, is there just not enough room for a Planet Vegeta, or did you think about the card at all? Did it end up on the cutting board?
Honestly, I forgot about that card. But it is something to think about. I mean, you do search up, like you said, half your deck. Um, yeah, so I might end up testing with that. I'm glad you brought that up. Like I
Uh,
said, I never really think about that card when I'm building decks, to be honest.
oh, it's like a staple for me. I mean, I'm a red baby player and I have my apes, so when I made red yellow, I was like, oh, Planet would be like. It took me a while to figure out that Planet actually worked with that deck, but it does wonders.
Does it trigger the repost also? Since it's a field?
Yes, because it is an extra
Okay.
card. So that would help with your. Now, is the riposte in energy and drop only, right? So it doesn't count for in play. So you'd have to either charge it or you'd have to play two planets to get one in the drop, right? So I don't think it'll
Okay.
it'll trigger in play.
Yeah, I
So
guess that would be a little bit busted with the new Gohan deck.
yeah, I mean there are other cards that do that, like that new Goku card that's coming in set 15. It reduces its cost by one for extra cards in play, drop, and charge. So
Oh, right, right.
that three drop
And that's
counter.
also a sand card, so yeah, that
Yes,
might which you could search for it with Planet.
correct. I mean Planet Vegeta is just phenomenal. Um, Now, secret rare of choice, you played the Supreme Kai of Time. Sorry. Uh, Generic board wipe, can counter, basically clear any unison, and can prevent leaders from swinging. How often do you play the Kai, and is this the best secret rare for the deck?
Uh, Yeah, whenever you draw it, I mean, you usually hold on to your opponent has a unison, get the most value out of it. And if you play it, I think you end up winning because at that point you have the most value out of your opponent. Um, I only saw it one time during the my local run.
Sure.
Um, it's my teammate's Ben, so whenever I give it back to him, I will probably just put in like lineage or the yellow ape that red something.
Mm.
Um, but if you have the Kai, definitely play the Kai.
Oh, for sure. I hope you can definitely find yourself a cheap copy of the Kai. I mean, it is getting reprinted, isn't it? So
Yeah, right.
hopefully those things will hit soon. I don't even know when the reprint's supposed to hit, but hopefully soon enough. Now, if you were to take this into a best of three event, now I don't know how much thought you put into a sideboard for this, but what would you be putting in the sideboard? Would you change anything in the main?
Yeah, in the main board, I would definitely maybe put that Vegeta Unison to sideboard. Um, and main board, I would have another copy of that 3-drop Goku that has Deflect and Barrier, the one that if your opponent activates an extra card, they got a rest a card.
Yeah, the Annihilation.
Yeah, I would add some Deborahs for cell hand control. Um, the 2-drop Goku that you draw from the drop area, I forgot his name.
Saiyan
Saiyan Instincts.
Instincts,
Saiyan
right?
Instincts, yeah.
Yeah.
Dark Power Black Mustang would be a good one. Um,
Do you feel like you have enough coolers in here? Or counter coolers? I only see one on the main
yes,
board.
yeah. So with this deck, I've been noticing that space is very limited. I did try Gogeta package because I saw a deck profile. I forgot his names, but shout out to I think it was Bad Beats actually.
Okay.
He had a Gogeta package, so I tried that. I didn't really like it, so I took that out. But yeah, space is very limited in this deck, so I can't fit another cooler in there. Otherwise, I would.
Oof. That's tough.
Yeah, yeah. I love playing multiple coolers. That
Uh,
card is just nuts.
for sure, I agree with you. I think counters are very important in the game, and the fact that there's only like a handful and only like two of them are playable makes this a very strong card. And it's not anything specific. It doesn't say counter battle card attack or counter attack. It just says counter.
Yeah,
So
so it guarantees your final swing with leader or unison. Make sure you're going in either with Champa or double strike.
basically,
Uh, one thing I do have there is a Frieza Army reinforcements. Not a lot of players play that card, but what I noticed too is that smart players will leave you at 6 or 5 whenever you awaken. So having that card and being able for you to take your own life, going down to 4, that way you can use your equivalent super combos is very effective. So that card is good unless you're going up against Piccolo Unison, which I hate. I hate that card so much.
yeah, those blockers just go out right away. Now, I did notice on the token, and I don't think a lot of people play actual tokens, but Frieza Army Reinforcements plays a 10,000 power token,
Right, yeah.
and most of the other tokens are 5K. So you can actually probably do some damage with this thing, right? Just like swing in, go with a Final Flash and Champa, and you could kill somebody with a token per game.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it's very possible. And 10K token is nothing to joke at.
no, I mean, there's definitely a lot of worse tokens you could play. Um, Now, other than that, I mean, the deck seems to be pretty much an engine of skill lists. Um, the basils are a nice touch. Have you thought about? You probably don't have room, but like a slug package to help keep your opponent's hand size down, so they're not drawing as much.
Yeah, definitely slug package. If anything, I'll put it in the side. Um, if your opponent is drawing a lot of cards with like using effects,
Right.
slug would be good. But yeah, like I said, the main board is way too tight because just the mono yellow good stuff is what pretty much takes the deck over the top.
I agree. I think yellow is very strong in this format. I think it'll be strong for Nats. Um, Unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of teammates in Nats. I think we have one that qualified, and I don't think they're even going.
Right.
Um, so it's unfortunate, but uh, we move on. Life goes on.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll wait for the next Nats, but we will be rooting for our Houston guys.
oh, most definitely. I already told Christian earlier, as I was doing his deck profile, that they have our support, and anybody else is going out there. I think it's some Meta Club guys, Team Rays, and I think Ernest is actually going, and he's with Team Empire, former Salt Boy. So at one point we did have a Salt Boy that was going to go to
We'll
Nats,
take that.
right? So he'll definitely have my vote. But Simon, I think that's going to be about it for the deck profile. Did you have any shout outs or any more comments on the deck before we wrap up?
I just shout outs to our side sponsor, Pro Mats. I love the mats. Like I said, best in the business when it comes to mat and sleeves. Um, Shout out to Lotus Gaming for being the best DBS shop in Houston. And yeah,
Hands
shout out
down.
to the boys. Oh, and you also. I didn't mention you, but you let me borrow like 6 of these cards.
That's what we do. That's what teammates are for. But I appreciate it. Yes, Pro Mat's definitely best in the game. If you haven't checked out Pro Mats, please go do so. You're doing yourself a disservice. They have some slick mats out there. I think their Halloween one was one of my favorites, where
Oh, for sure.
they had all the Halloween characters, but it was all the ladies of Dragon Ball. We actually have sleeves and play mats from Pro Mats, and they are always getting compliments when we play with them. Uh, Shout out to Lily for sure, and Team Lotus Gaming Shop with Team Salt Boys. We are the team for Dragon Ball when it comes to Lotus Gaming. So if you haven't checked out the stream, we have Thursday nights about 8 o'clock Central Time. David PR Sign is the commentator for the local. He's probably the best in the business when it comes to commentating. Come check out the stream. Come check out the boys. And other than that, shout out to the Salt Boys and shout out to the haters one time. Simon, I appreciate it. We'll catch you
For
on the
sure.
next one.
That
Take,
is.